What are you doing with Justin Jefferson in Dynasty Fantasy Football this offseason? He's an excellent wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, but this year was a big down year. He hurt you pretty bad if you held him throughout the year in Dynasty, and his value took a hit because he just wasn't performing. So now let's take a chance. Let's take this opportunity in the offseason to look back at kind of what happened last year, what's going to change this offseason, and come up with an idea of what we expect him to do next year and what you can do with him this offseason in trades. So let's pull up his stats from this year because they were rough. Even if you just look at it season over season, we're looking at 21 points a game, 20 points a game, 18.7 points a game in the year with Sam Darnold. And then in a year with J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Jake Brosmer, he's down to 11.9 PPR points a game. Try to make that a little bit bigger for you. This is rough. You can take that, though, game log and go in PPR points. Here he is the first couple games with J.J. McCarthy. It's not looking good. It's not looking great at all. J.J. McCarthy leaves with a sprained ankle. I think that was the first injury. He leaves with injury. Carson Wentz comes in, and the numbers start to look better. We get up to 22, 19. We want him to be around 20 points per game in PPR, 12, 14. It's rough. The mystique of Kevin O'Connell as a coach who can do it with anyone. He did it with Sam Darnold. He can do it with anyone. He did it with Josh Dobbs, the alopecia astronaut. He can do it with anyone. That mystique has worn off over this year. But we're in the offseason now, and the team can make changes. So what do we expect a team like the Vikings to do? Well, first of all, Brian Flores, their great defensive coordinator, is in the head coaching cycle right now. It is a possibility that he gets picked up to become the head coach somewhere else. And a team that, when they were winning this year, was because of their defense being excellent and holding teams to points, likely goes away. The points per game being scored against the Vikings should probably increase in 2026. And if they are going to win, they will need to keep up on offense. The other thing that is likely going to happen this offseason for the Vikings is that they bring in someone else to compete with J.J. McCarthy. Around this time last year, the Colts were bringing in someone like Daniel Jones, who went through this Vikings locker room. And when the Colts named Daniel Jones starter, the general consensus was, are the Colts morons? Typically, when teams make changes like this, I am someone who does not overreact in that direction. I'm usually someone who leans on the side of the team might know more about their players than I do. The Colts might have known more about Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson than I did. The Vikings will know more about J.J. McCarthy and someone else that they bring in to help Justin Jefferson for next year. So when we're looking at his value, I think it's going to be rising this offseason. If we take a look at it here, here's Justin Jefferson's dynasty value over the last 6 months. We'll start around July. I think just in the offseason, these older, I think Justin Jefferson's 25, 26. Yeah, 26 years old, not too old for dynasty. As rookies are coming along, that's why we might see player value for someone like Justin Jefferson dip in training camp. This could have been trepidation around J.J. McCarthy as a starter and the conversations around how the Vikings did want to bring in someone else, how they tried for Aaron Rodgers because they knew J.J. McCarthy might not be ready. That's kind of just revisionist history on that storyline, but here's maybe why we see something like that. Then we get to the start of the season and his value takes a hit. J.J. McCarthy, in his first couple games, of his first 3 games, maybe played 1 or 2 good quarters of football, and it was showing with Justin Jefferson. Was not catching passes. It was not looking good. Then Carson Wentz comes in, things start to even out, and then J.J. McCarthy comes back and the bottom falls out. As we get into next year, we just need someone to get Carson Wentz level of production, and the Vikings can find that. They could trade for Mac Jones. They could sign Kyler Murray after he gets cut by the Cardinals if the Cardinals choose to move on. Bring him in at a very cheap price. Give him a chance to revitalize his career in a 1 or 2 year span while J.J. McCarthy learns. The thing that we want to look at is quarterbacks that have improved. Players that the sentiment had fallen off on, and then the quarterback got way better. Baker Mayfield is on a long-term contract. Sam Darnold signed a decent deal and has looked good for the Seahawks. Daniel Jones, other than an Achilles injury, was looking much better. The common denominator between all of those guys isn't specific coaches that they went to or specific situations. It's really just time. Players do get better at playing quarterback in the NFL. And I think that's what we can expect for someone like JJ McCarthy to help out Justin Jefferson. And in the meantime, there are options for the Vikings to bring in. So let's look at some real trades for Justin Jefferson, because I don't think we've seen anything about this player fall off. All of the stats that you could use to describe a player or even try to predict future success for a wide receiver, they all look great for Justin Jefferson. Air yards, percentage of the target share. The only thing that we're really worried about is catchable target rate for Justin Jefferson. He was great in every stat except for catchable target rate, which is huge. Like JJ McCarthy cannot hit him with a pass in stride. If they bring in a quarterback or if JJ gets better that can improve that, we could see Justin Jefferson go back to being a top 3 fantasy wide receiver. So let's take a look at some trades that have happened this offseason and get a gauge of what can we do with this guy. First one, it happened today. Justin Jefferson and Rico Dowdle, someone went and made the swap for Brian Thomas, Jonathan Taylor, and the 205. I'm not making that swap. I don't think I am. If I'm looking at the long-term success of my team, I'm expecting better production from Justin Jefferson in 2026. And I think we've seen the peak for Jonathan Taylor. He's 27 now. We're at the point where a lot of fantasy running backs have fallen off after their best year around age 27. I'm not saying that's necessarily what's going to happen for Jonathan Taylor, but he becomes a very volatile asset. If he has a year like Saquon had this year, or worse, that value disappears very quickly because people start to look at, oh, that's his age. Is he at the age cliff? I won't trade for him at all. So in this situation, I might stick with Justin Jefferson, who's just going to have more liquid value. Brian Thomas could be a difference maker in this trade if he bounces back. And then the 205 really does not hold a lot of sway for me in the breakup of this trade. If you look at players from last year that were drafted in the second round, I've got a scratch pad of notes. A lot of these second round, like 205 picks, they just don't hit. Of these players, the only one that would be valuable right now, here, let's make room here, is Cam Scatterbo. Matthew Golden did nothing his rookie year. Trey Harris did nothing. Caleb Johnson, I think, carried the ball maybe 10 times all year. Kyle Williams has 1 or 2 touchdowns on the year. There's a lot of misses in the second round. So when you're making trades for these players, I like to think of second round picks as kind of hot potatoes. You can use them to get a trade to go through. People associate value with them. Cam Scatterbo was a second round pick. They'll tell themselves. But the hit rate is just so low. So I think of them like a hot potato. If I'm trading Justin Jefferson and I'm getting the 205, I now know that I have a chore ahead of me to take that 205 and move it for someone else. Let's keep looking at some other trades though, like Justin Jefferson and Wan'Dale Robinson for Genty and Demario Douglas. I think I'm staying on the Justin Jefferson side. Jefferson for Genty seems like a fine value crossover. We covered at Genty yesterday or sometime this week on a Dynasty Market Report. And I like the player, but I also really like Justin Jefferson. So I think, and then the difference of Wan'Dale over Demario Douglas, I clearly like Wan'Dale more. So I'm going to stay on the Justin Jefferson side here. And let's look at one that's more Jefferson focused. We're going to jump to this one other than these that are 5 and 6 pieces in them. Justin Jefferson for Baker Mayfield, the 108 and the 111. And I could do this. The value here lines up. If I have these picks, if I have Baker Mayfield and 2 other good quarterbacks, I would feel pretty comfortable moving 111 and 108 for Justin Jefferson. Maybe if I had Baker Mayfield and I found Tyler Shuck as a second quarterback, I could go for a year using Tyler Shuck as my second quarterback, sending these 2 picks for Justin Jefferson. I think that makes sense. The value here probably lines up pretty evenly with a little bit more trade calculator value on the left-hand side. But again, with these picks, I don't know that they're going to hit as much and give us a Justin Jefferson like we want them to. Here's a trade that we've covered before. Quinshon Judkins and a 27 first for Justin Jefferson. I think this one's pretty fair. I wouldn't bat an eye if this one went down in my league. So I'll leave these up on the board for the final minutes as we do our outro. This is a brand new series, the Dynasty Market Report. We will be dropping this Monday through Friday throughout the offseason. If there's a player you are looking to have covered, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Right now in January, we're mostly just covering players from eliminated teams because we know their season is done. We know their story is done. But if there's someone specific you're looking for, let me know in the comments and we will get to them this offseason, be it in a Dynasty Market Report video like this one, or on YouTube Shorts, or on TikToks, where we cover players and their trade value in much more quicker videos. And we get a couple of those out each day. So let me know in the comments. And then at some point this offseason, we will cover every player at least one, probably multiple times. If this has helped you make a trade, let me know with a like and a subscribe. And if it doesn't, either way, let me know with a like and a subscribe. This is the end of the video. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one.